Hi folks, welcome back to Michelle Reads a Lot of Fantasy. And yes, I I do reviews of fantasy and some science fiction. Later on this week, I will finally post my review of All Systems Red. So that's by Martha Wells, and I'm really super excited about sharing that review with people and everything. So thank you everybody that's come on my channel and watched my videos. I do appreciate it big time. Alright, I am finally doing a review of Brendan Sanderson's Elantris. It says 10th anniversary edition, but this book came out 20 years ago, just to let you know. Alright, so this is going to be it's going to be as much of a detailed view as I can do in 15 minutes. So what is Elantris about? Elantris is about a city that used to be so beautiful, so splendid, so amazing. The people had silver skin, and they glowed, and their city glowed. It was a beautiful place. And then 10 years ago, it died off. And what ended up happening was a disease known as the Shroud attacked them, and they disappeared, leaving behind their city and a couple of people that might have been around before it happened. Elantris has become essentially a quarantine city. You get infected by the Shroud, and you have no choice but to be placed in Elantris. And what happens is the heir to the throne of this kingdom, which happens to be right up against Elantris, gets infected by the Shroud. And because he is infected, he cannot become king. He has to be sent to Elantris. Not just sent, he gets thrown into Elantris with a burial shroud and a basket full of offerings. And this is supposed to do him for a little bit. So what ends up happening is he enters this city that is quarantined off. And by the way, the disease reminds me of leprosy, if anybody wants to know. And you have people that are in pain. They're hungry, but they can't die. It's like something keeps them from dying, which is weird because you assume a disease that basically does this stuff would kill you. It doesn't. Everybody's alive, but they kind of aren't. They have no heart rate. Their blood doesn't flow anymore, but yet they are still alive. So while the prince is in this walled up city because he's got this disease, his soon-to-be wife shows up, and she finds out that her soon-to-be husband is dead. However, she kind of knows about Elantris. Everyone knows about Elantris. Elantris was a trading city. It's a trading city. And so she decides to be kind to these people and to give them food and hope. And she does it, much to the court's. They don't exactly like this about her, but she can't get the disease because she's not from the area. She's from a different part of the known Brandon Sanderson world. And so she's immune from the Shroud until she gets it, which totally, like, they're like, wait a second here, was not born here, why does she get it? So as she's in Elantris, she feels for these people a lot more now that she's got the Shroud. And her husband, the guy that got the shroud and was thrown in, he notices something really odd about her disease. She's not losing, like, yes, she's lost her hair, but she doesn't have the pain that him and everyone else in that city is going through. And, they fall in love with each other, and they act very much like they're married. They call themselves husband and wife, and, those outdated words. And so she kind of gives him a clue to help figure out what exactly is going on. How come the people here don't die? They're dead, probably people outside, but why are they not actually dead, like in the ground dead? And then you have this guy, I can't pronounce his name, but he's like a devotee of like the new religion, and he gets in there, and he does this whole thing where he shows that his faith can heal, and he's able to leave, and all that type of stuff. But his goal is to try to get the people away from the old religion and into the new. Sounds pretty, typical of, like pagans are bad and, people follow God are good people. Though the people that are in the, they're kind of, Well, when this princess shows up, who gets the shroud later on, she turns the people away from their loathing of the people that live in Elantris. And what happens to the people inside Elantris is that they start having hope. And this is a very powerful thing to have, is hope. And what happens is this elderly man talks about this pool. And they find the pool. And the pool is untouched. It's actually out there in the mountains, which is weird. This pool offers release from pain. And he goes into the pool and he does not come back. So what ends up happening is, thanks to his wife, beautiful, brilliant, beautiful mind, he finally unlocks the secret to Elantris' power. What made Elantris this beautiful, shiny city. And what ends up happening is he is sent to the pool by his friends to be released from his pain and his torment. And what sure enough happens is, the moment he enters this pool and he decides to not let the pool take him away, everything just starts clicking, twisting, turning into place. And he comes out of it what Elantris used to be. Found out the shroud is not a disease. It is the halfway point between what you were to what you will become. And now that he's cracked the code and he comes out, and all of a sudden everything changes. All the grime, all the dirtiness vanishes. And meanwhile, this guy that I once again cannot pronounce his name, he is trying to kill these people in Elantris because he just wants them dead. He just doesn't like them. And because he has unlocked Elantris' power, all these people that are burning, they come out of it without a single scratch on their body. And their skin is like silver, and their hair is white, and they're beautiful, and they're marvelous, and they're everything that people have been told about this city. And Elantris gets reaffirmed back into being this port city. Absolutely loved this book. People say it's not one of Brandon Sanderson's best works. He was just starting out in it. Absolutely loved this book. This book was so good. I read 46 chapters in one setting. This is how good the book is. Though, people might not agree with me, but I don't care. It's my opinion. My opinion. I gave it 5 stars on Goodreads. It was just so good. It made me cry. It made me feel things. It was just absolutely beautifully written. Alright, I have one more review video to do, and I will see you guys in the next video. So until then, keep on reading those fantasy books. Bye.